Wow, 8 minutes. Thank you so much, Anne. Hi, everyone. My name is Jessica Huynh. I am a lifelong public servant. I'm a trial attorney. I am a single mom, and I'm also the daughter of Vietnamese refugees. My parents came over here during the fall of Saigon without a penny to their name, without anything except the clothes on their back, and not knowing their language, the English language. And they came over here with the dream of just something better. And they left a war-torn country that didn't have free and fair elections. So it's really an honor to be on the ballot. I am running to be the very first Asian American to sit on a district court bench in Travis County. We have had the court system here in Travis County since 1855, and no Asian American has ever presided over a felony case. And I'd like to be the first one and earn your vote for that. Professionally, I'm an assistant district attorney. I specialize in the prosecution of child abuse cases, so child physical and sexual abuse. But I'm also the county's only felony level animal cruelty prosecutor. So we're not talking about neglect cases, we're talking about murdering or torturing of the animals in our county, both wildlife, domesticated, and also livestock animals. I'm also the leader in our office, the leader in the entire office to train different attorneys on every topic under the sun, from how to pick a jury trial, how to introduce expert witness testimony, to identifying implicit bias and discussing issues in racial equity. Within the office, I have also founded and moderate and still lead a racial equity discussion group because I believe that you have to confront really hard issues and have discussions about them before you can really overcome them. And I think that that's how criminal justice reform really happens, with trying to identify where your blind spots are and how you can grow and become a better office. And that's what I've been doing at the DA's office. And I want to bring that energy to the bench, and I want to bring that to the 331st District Court. I will say one of the things that I want to bring to the court as well is this idea that every person who comes into the court feels fully seen, heard, and understood. And as you can imagine, middle schoolers and high schoolers, they don't want to talk to adults. They want to be on their phones. But as a child abuse prosecutor, I have to connect with them and be vulnerable enough for them, and fully see and hear them for them to trust me, for them to speak about some of their most painful experiences, not just in front of me, but in front of a Travis County jury. And I've been doing that. So I've handled the county's most difficult, most tragic, and most complex cases. And I've tried almost 100 jury trials so at this point in my career. So I really appreciate you guys for having me. And I know that you've been very accommodating to all of the candidates in our schedules and juggling multiple Zooms. I'd love to answer any of your questions if you have any.
We do have a question from Joy Smith. Jessica, why did you choose to run for this specific bench?
Thank you for that question. I think that there's a lot of paradigm differences than me and the incumbent, Chantal Eldridge. I think that, and Judge Eldridge will tell you, she said this statement several times, and she said that she doesn't see color in her courtroom. She doesn't hold it against you if you're Black, white, Hispanic, or Asian. And I think that that's a very well-intentioned statement, and it's true. You shouldn't hold your race against you. But I really do believe that in order to fully see people, you do have to see their color and who they are and understand their whole story. I do believe that people that enter the justice system have been products of failed systems around them way before the criminal justice system. And I think that there can be a lot of improvements in that court, just with a lot of energy and effort, and not necessarily being entrenched in older habits. I think that we are on the forefront of changing a lot of things in our criminal justice system, and I'd like to be a part of that. That's a great question. Thank you. I think we might have another. I don't know.
Just looking here. No, but I would like to ask, I will ask, what do you bring to the bench that specifically makes you qualified?
Right. So I've handled thousands of cases, all different types of cases, but it's not just the resume, right? I think that, as you've noticed, all of the candidates are tremendous attorneys. We all are great. It's how much effort and work you want to put and how you see the system as a whole. My opponent has run on the premise that she is the most efficient court. The numbers tell a very different story. And I know that there is a place for efficiency. However, I would always prioritize humanity, compassion, dignity, and respect before efficiency. one thing that I do have is I've handled low-level offenses all the way up to capital murder. So I know there are certain cases you can go through the system quickly. I also know that there are other cases that no matter what, you have to go slowly to fully understand what's going on and give everybody both sides, because the matter might be tremendously complex. So that's what I would bring to the bench. Of course, I always want folks to consider diversity. It's not the reason why you would vote for me, but like I said, we've never had anybody ever step up. And it's important for our judiciary to reflect the community that it serves. And our communities are very, very diverse. Thank you, Anne.
Yes, one more question from Doug Mellon. Jessica, if elected, what would be your approach to defendants in cases of physical and sexual abuse of children?
So I think that I have to take a completely different hat off, right? Right now, I'm an advocate for children and their perpetrators and really creating a space for them. I will say that the law is very specific, that there are certain higher prison sentences for most cases that are child abuse related. But I can't be an advocate anymore. I have to be like an umpire. I'm not a ball player anymore. So I'd have to know the law thoroughly, which I do. I cannot make mistakes along the way, because what could happen is a case could come back on appeal, or there could be other issues with higher court. So I would know the law backwards and forwards in those cases, like I have been, and I would be fair to both sides. I am very passionate about children's welfare, but I'm equally passionate about due process and respect for the person that is accused. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
I have one. And
Oh,
she's got,
okay.
I'm a retired hospice nurse, and several of my patients were toddlers who had been abused. It just took them a while to die from the abuse. How do we advocate with law enforcement to deal more promptly with these cases? Because I had to be careful what I medicated them with so that I couldn't be accused of having of killing them.
Right. Thank you for that question. And thank you for your service to these individuals that are in the worst parts of their life, the end of their life. So I can say there's a quick response, which, thank you for the time. We have to take a step back and understand why they got to the place that they got to, where they became that violent. Were they victims themselves of violence? Were they just a young parent that lost their mind for that 1 second? I think we have to take a step back and understand the dynamics. In the courtroom, how do we respond quickly is making sure that our police officers have enough resources to respond quickly. So thank you. And of course, conduct very full investigations from the medical standpoint as well.